everybody out there in YouTube land? This is Will the Dragon Whisperer with another video for the channel. And in this video, I whipped up a 36 by 18 by 18 all PVC enclosure with some screen on it that I built for my nephew Jackson. He's got a juvenile bearded dragon, Miss Blue. You guys have seen her on the channel. And she's going to be upgrading to the little 10-gallon starter tank she was in, just so we could make sure we can mind her good, keep her temperatures right when she was in the early stages. And she's going to be moving into this enclosure. I'm going to be taking it to Jackson this week, so I'm going to show you guys how I build it. We're going to get straight to the video. Hope you guys enjoy it. So let's hit the road.
Roads? Where we're going, we don't need roads.
For materials, I had some scrap PVC sheet, but you can usually buy this in 1/2-inch 4x8 sheets from Home Depot. And I also bought some 1x2s in PVC, some scrap screen I had, staples and staple gun. But if you don't have large sections of PVC, 1x4s or 1x6 in PVC, just stacked together. Okay, here I've carried my large pieces outside, and I'm going to use this saw guide, which I highly recommend unless you have a table saw. You can get one of these for $10 to $15 from Harbor Freight or your local hardware store. And I'm going to cut the base of this enclosure at 3 foot by 18 inches, and then I'm going to cut the back 3 foot by 12 inches. And I'm going to show you why later. I'm cutting that a little shorter to provide a vent, and then I'm going to trim these other scrap pieces down I have and square them off so that I can use them for the sides of the enclosure. Okay guys, this is where I do the basic assembly for the main structure of the tank, and this 90-degree clamp I'm using is invaluable. You can get them for about $10 to $12, and not only do they make sure that you have a perfect 90-degree angle, but they also make sure that both of the pieces are flush on the end and lined up perfectly. So after I get that done, I'm going to install the side pieces, and I'm going to pre-sync my screws because I'm doing this by myself, and it's invaluable when you don't have a second set of hands to make sure those screws are already started when you go to line everything up and set it in. And you're going to see here that the side panels are a little bit, they look like they're flimsy and wobbly, but I am going to tie those together with some cross members, and they'll be solid once the final enclosure is done. Now here I'm carrying my PVC 1x2 trim boards out to my chop saw, and I'm going to cut 6 pieces that are going to be 36 inches long, and this is going to help tie the enclosure together and provide the base for the screen on the top and the vent on the back. Now here I have my 1x2s that I've cut to 36 inches, and I'm going to double them up for strength. And when I double them up, I'm going to make sure I stagger the screws from the left to right on the boards to make sure that they stay straight all the way down and don't bend or bow. And then I'm going to make sure any paint or graphics or Mars are on the inside so that when I screw them together, those are concealed. And then when I install them, I'm going to try to make sure that on the back one I face the screws to the back, and the front pieces that are going to be the supports and basically the mounts for the tracks on the top and bottom for the doors, I'm going to make sure those screws are facing the inside so that you can't see them. And then I'm going to install some extra support screws up from the bottom on the bottom piece to provide some extra support as well. Here I'm going to use some more 1x2s that I have doubled up and cut to fit in here on the ends, and these are going to tie the side panels together since I had to use 2 pieces and make them a solid piece. And it's also going to provide a platform to help for the screen on the top. And then I'm also going to take some measurements for some cross members that are going to provide some more additional support, as well as the mounts for the UBB fixture. Now I'm going to use some screen that I have pre-cut out, and I buy the 1/4 inch landscaping type screen, and it's galvanized, I do believe, and I've been able to find that the 1/4 inch is a thin enough gauge that I can cut it with a pair of heavy duty scissors, which makes cutting it pretty quick and easy. And then I've just got a regular staple gun, I think they're T50 staples, and go around and staple it in as many spots as you can until you feel it secure. You want to pull it extra tight and just work out any bubbles as you go along. Okay, you guys, the enclosure is pretty much all finished now. I have the screen top. So we have the basking bowl mounted on top of the screen there. The fluorescent light fixture is mounted, and you can also see I ran a conduit right there that covers up the cord, and that goes out the back screen, and it's trimmed out there. So it has a screen across the back wall for ventilation and to get rid of the humidity, as well as the screen lid on top, the screen covering, and then I'm just waiting on the glass to come in. You obviously want to mount your thicker tracks on the top, so to hold the glass in, you put them up into the top and then they'll rest in the bottom. Be using 3/16 tempered glass, and I've got to get some more of the hardwood to line the sides, and I'm also going to be lining the exterior and the front to cover up the screw holes that I've inset, so that they'll be completely covered up with the veneer on the outside. And I think the enclosure came out very well. It's going to be for my nephew's dragon, Miss Blue, so that's why I made it a little different than the other one, so this has plenty of ventilation. And if he needs to, he can use the 2 basking bulbs, or you can add another UVB bulb there to go with the big UVB fixture. And but this ought to work out good for the bearded dragon once I get the glass in, and I think the enclosure came out well. Basically just all made out of PVC scraps that I had around the house.
Okay, guys. Once again, this is Will the Dragon Whisperer. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. Hope you learned a little something. Hope you guys can get some scraps together or some PVC from your local hardware store and build you an enclosure like this if you need one. It works great for bearded dragons as well as other species. There's a lot of different ways it can be conformed. Hope you guys will stay tuned to see it all decorated once it gets to Jackson and is all set up for his little dragon. Thank you guys so much for watching. Once again, this is Dragon Whisperer, and I'm out.